I've watched some basketball. I watched a lot of hockey before. I kind of like that.
Greg, you got one?
Coach, it seems like you played a lot of teams that prefer to slow the tempo down this year, and it seems like you've had more success against that type of style than you have in years past. Is that just part of it being a veteran lineup?
Greg, that's a good question. I hadn't thought of it at all really, because I feel like everybody wants to play a slower pace than we do, so it's nothing different for me. I think having experienced team and having experienced guards always helps you in the question of tempo. And I saw some stat that they take fewer shots in the first 10 seconds than anybody in the country or something like that. And I think we probably take more. But the bottom line is, it's like golf. Some guys hit draws, some guys hit fades, but they're still trying to get to the middle of the fairway. And Tony's doing what he's comfortable with and what he thinks is best for his team. I'm doing what I feel comfortable with, but I'd say probably just on a 30-second brain exercise while I'm talking, is I'd probably say just more experience or guard play. It hadn't really bothered us very much.
Coach, with Marcus's struggles, have you lost the benefit of having teams pay more attention to him?
No, they still give him a lot of attention, and I hope they still do. Because that means one of two things: he's either doing it, or at least there's a threat there of him doing it. But I know if I were playing us, I would emphasize him and Bryce before I emphasized anything else, for sure.
Is discipline defensively even at more of a premium playing a team like Virginia?
I think probably so. It's probably more important offensively. Defensively too, because you can't take any chances. You don't want to do something silly. You want to be more sound, I think, on both ends of the court. You got to have poise that you got to keep working at it to get a shot, but you got to have enough poise and toughness to keep defending, because they do what they do. And in the preseason, and with me and my buddies and coach and everything, I picked them as the #1 team in our league, and I really think that they're really, really good. There's not one time this year that I've thought they're slipping or anything like that. I think Brogdon has been sensational, and it fits. And they're a veteran team too. Gill's a senior, Malcolm's a senior, Toby's a senior, Parantes is a junior. Maybe I'm leaving somebody out, but they've played the style that Tony likes for 3 or 4 years, and so they're really comfortable with it on both ends of the floor, so you have to have some discipline on both ends.
Among teams that slow it down, what makes Virginia's approach to the slower tempo unique?
People say slow it down. I just think they just wait until they get the shot they want. They don't stand out there and milk the clock for 20 seconds and then start playing. If you give them a good shot early, they'll take it early. I've never asked Tony if he likes being called a guy that slows it down, but that's not what I see. I see that they run their stuff until they get the shot you want. We've played against teams that just messed around for 10 or 15 seconds and then would try to get in their offense. I don't really see Virginia doing that. I see them playing, and if you screw it up and give them a good shot in the first 5 seconds, they take it. But it's a shot that I say to my team all the time: get the shot that we all want, not just the person taking the shot. And I tend to describe theirs like that, but it's a slower tempo on the other end too, because it's hand-to-hand combat. They fight like crazy to not give you an easy one early. They sprint back and they'll give you one in transition early. So it's a little bit of, if you want to call it a slower tempo, but I don't think that they do it offensively like some teams do.
Justin Jackson's been really good the last 6 games or so. It looks like he's been, at least for me, to me, it looks like he's running the floor a lot better, or a lot more aggressively maybe. Is that accurate?
I think he's been more aggressive. I don't know that he's running the floor any better than he has all year long, because I think he's probably been better at that than anybody else we have, and I still want him to be a heck of a lot better at it. But I think he's more aggressive, and that probably comes from more confidence of the ball going in the basket.
Has that helped at all just for him to get easy? Easy layup to get started?
I've said all year long, we need guys our 3 men to run better and rebound better. And when they do either or both of those, it really helps us. And when you have someone, we've had with Joel and Marcus, we've had games where we were scoring in the backcourt, and Bryce, particularly in the games that we score up in the front court, but you have that third guy doing it, it really helps everything.
Virginia's leading the nation in transition defense right now. I think it's 6-7 points a game they're allowing. What about it? I mean, are they maybe not sending as many people to crash the boards to get back? What about them makes them effective?
I don't think there's any question that, I guess in one way you could answer your own question, just second check and see what their offensive rebound percentage is. But I think they do a great job of not wasting time jamming the ball. They do a great job of not trying to stop the break high. They do a great job of sprinting back and picking up. They don't send 4 guys to the offensive boards, I know that. But if their guys have a chance, they do a great job of deciding whether I have a chance to get the offensive rebound or not. But I think you add all those things. Some teams, I played against Tim Floyd, we were at Kansas, he was at Iowa State. They sent 2 guys to the board, the guy that shot it and one other guy, and they got 3 guys back. You know, so they did stop our break a lot better, but they didn't get as many easy ones on offensive rebounds too. But I think Tony, again, it's not just not getting guys to the boards, but I think checking what their offensive rebound percentage may give you more information there too. But I know the parts that need to be done. I hate it when my guys, I don't like them to jam the rebound. Get your tail back. Okay, I don't like to stop the break high. Get your tail back. And I love guys that sprint back and turn around and talk and pick up and see your relationship with the man and the ball. And I think they do that probably better than anybody. And then, there's one thing too, you don't want to take a lot of chances against them. Because you take chances and screw it up, now you got to play defense a little bit longer again. And I hear people talking, it's one of the few things that I do agree with that I hear, is that if you get down 8 or 10 against them, it's really bigger than 8 or 10.
What makes Malcolm so effective?
Shooting percentage, he takes the shots that he likes and he makes. And that's the effectiveness as an offensive player is, do you not turn it over and you shoot a high percentage? And I think he does both of those, and he's fantastic at it. In ACC play, he's one of those guys, Steve did all this work. He's shooting 47.5 overall. He's shooting 51% in the league. I mean, he's effective because he's daggum good. But he takes shots that he can make and doesn't take bad shots, doesn't take rush shots. He keeps running around those screens and tight curls, sometimes flare, sometimes. But he's effective because of his numbers. He has those numbers because he's really a daggum good player.
How do you think you guys match up with him defensively, and what challenges especially does he?
Last year we played them lose by 10 or 11 at their place. We would play them in a tournament, and what helps in the tournament, we shot a great percentage ourselves. We shot over 50% in both halves. And so you've got to be just as effective as they are. If you're not effective because you're not going to kill them on the backboards because defensive rebounding, I would bet they're way up there. And again, as a matter of fact, I haven't seen this week's ACC release with all those stats. You'll get that for me. But I would think defensive rebounding, that they would be way up there because all 5 guys really, really box out. And so they're really good. There's a reason.
Theo said the other night after the game that
You're already on shaky ground.
he said that after the Duke game that one of the changes that he sensed was that everybody kind of recognized where the calendar is, and they realized that whatever had gone on before, now it was time to really buckle down, tighten everything up. Have you sensed
Did he say
that
that
awareness?
before the Duke game or after?
He said after the Duke game. There were a lot of things I think they realized after that point, and he said that the calendar was number one. Have you sensed that awareness from the group as a whole?
Well, I think so. I think every coach in America starts talking, okay, now we got to really push. And I think the players recognize that. Seniors always recognize it because they start realizing how many games they have left. But I do think that all the kids do. And I think we have intelligent kids, and they put themselves into a pretty good position right now. But they know you got to finish it out. It doesn't do any good to say, boy, I was really good for 2/3 of the season. Our record was really good with 3 weeks left in the season. You got to play it out.
Is there some kind of, you asked if he said that before or after Duke, is there some kind of line, kind of?
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is that Duke's, we're sitting there in the locker room and everybody's mad and ticked off and hurt and angry and everything. And so, the reason I was just asking was just I didn't know the answer, you know, whether he said it before or after, because I would have thought that we would have been very concerned about the lateness of the season before the Duke game too. But you've heard me say many times, I wish players could learn just as much from playing poorly and winning as you do from losing, but you don't.
Do you have any particular attachment to this group of seniors that's starting to wind down here?
Yeah, they're really an unusual group. Completely different personalities. The uniqueness of the three of them is something that I really enjoy that part of it too. I mean, Marcus is just as serious as he can be, and is a coach's son, mom, dad, everybody coached him, and he thinks like a coach. He really thinks the game so much. Bryce and Joel, not nearly at that stage. Joel, from where he came from and how he's blossomed as a young man, is even more impressive than what he's done as a basketball player. And Bryce, coming from a guy that we could barely get his heart rate to even register. You know, you could take his pulse and it wasn't one there at some point when he started to. He's done some amazing things this year. I'm really still pushing him because I think he can do so much more defensively, particularly in rebounding. But there are three really very different guys, and yet they've really enjoyed that relationship. And you know, they've been here during a very difficult time period, and things haven't always been, you know, ice cream and nuts on top their 3 years, because they've had to put up with a lot of stuff, and that part has been taken away from what they've really accomplished, and made it more difficult to accomplish the things that they wanted to accomplish. But that'll be a tough one for me to realize that I don't get to coach those guys anymore. It's a long way from that.
There's still some time left, like a month and a half left in the season, but what do you want their legacy to be? What do you think about looking back? These
Wow.
guys?
I'm still trying to remember what the crap Virginia's offensive rebound percentage is. You're asking a question what I'm going to be thinking a month and a half from now. You know, I don't think about those kind of things until it's over with. I really don't. I mean, what they've done here in 3 years in the midst of turmoil and the sensationalism and the negative recruiting and all that stuff that's affected our team for 3 years is pretty admirable. But ask me that question after the season's over with, I'll tell you.
Has Bryce come as far as any player you can think of in your?
You mean from where he started?
Where he started, you joking about his heart rate and that kind of thing.
Effort-wise, there's no question. I mean, I told you this before, Joe Holiday thought he'd go home after the first day of fall conditioning. You know, and he's a guy that's 39 and 23, 26 and 19, 29 and 17, 27, 19, all those kind of things. I mean, I think he's done some amazing things, and I still get so mad at him because I want more, and I push him to get more and more and more. Took him out of the game the other night after, I would have taken him out after one defensive possession, but I couldn't get the clock stopped. But then he comes back in and has 22 and 11. You know, so he's come a long way, and he's a unique guy, and he's really funny, and I've really enjoyed him as much. And you know, one of you asked one time, is it a love-hate? It's a frustration relationship. I've always loved the kid. He's always been a guy that I've really enjoyed. And when I walk out there and see him do something goofy and all this kind of stuff, but it's been a frustration level because I've wanted him to do even more and more and more.
How much has he progressed as far as efficiency goes, the amount of time he has the ball to get the accumulated production?
He's gone leaps and bounds. I mean, he blocks more shots now than he did early too, but offensively he's productive. You know, and I have to get after him because he said something about shooting 50%. That shouldn't be your mark. You ought to try to shoot 65. You know, I want him to think in terms, not just 50 is not good enough for him, but he's been awfully efficient.
Coach, I have a question from the Washington Post, beat writer for Virginia. She wants to know, do you think Marcus has a bit of a confidence issue right now? And if you think that, or is there anything you're doing specifically to help him through that?
You know, no one ever knows what the kids are thinking, and, you know, I talk to Marcus a lot, and I think he's honest, but, I don't think it's a confidence issue. You know, we do some shooting drills, and he's been off the charts. I mean, literally off the charts. And then the other night, everybody said, boy, he didn't shoot very well. He's 2 for 5. You know, I wanted him to make one more of it for sure, because it was wide open across from our bench, but, he hasn't shot it the way he wanted to shoot it, the way we expected him to shoot it, but I'll go back to that same thing. We got hopefully a long time left in the season, but, sometimes the other team's defense is aimed at you and it's really effective. And then sometimes the ball just doesn't go in the basket, but, I don't think he's got a confidence issue. You know, and again, we've talked a lot, and some of the things that we share, I wouldn't tell anybody regardless, but, I just think, let's put it this way. I've never played a game at the end of the game that when I didn't have him out on the court and didn't get very happy when they got the ball, so I'm still pretty doggone confident in him.
Anybody else for Coach before we bring Marcus in?
Anybody else? And I know you guys surprised he came to the press conference.